to just get into it if you're comfortable with that. I know we had talked about some stuff last week, and I have an idea of something we could try if you're up for it.
Sure, yeah.
So this is kind of helpful in putting your thoughts on paper and really getting a gist of what's going on so you can see it for yourself.
Okay.
We call it a thought processing worksheet. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but
Okay.
it is what it says. You know, we're taking a thought and we're going to look at it.
Okay.
So I will walk you through this as we go along. We're going to look at some emotions, some distortions, and then we're going to get to actually dissecting the thoughts and beliefs.
Okay.
So I know we talked about some things last week that were bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would be helpful to use one of those situations for our chart here?
Yeah, sure, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there one that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, actually, I know we talked about this a bit before, but I guess getting B's on my assignments, I still I remember when I got a B this past week, I was just like, you were just so stupid, and I don't know, it's been really hard ever since that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the situation we could say is getting B's on assignments. Is that fair?
That would be perfect. Yep.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to go look at emotions, and they're pretty straightforward. So I have this labeled now and later.
Okay.
Basically, we're going to have you rate on 1 to 10 some of these emotions, and you're going to tell me how you feel now.
Okay.
The later, we don't have to worry about that at the moment. We're just going to go back over that obviously later.
Okay.
Now and later. So, again, stop me if you have any questions. We're just going to work through this, and I'd rather do it slowly and make sure everything's getting conveyed properly than go fast and just get nothing.
That's helpful.
Yeah. So, the first emotion, when thinking about getting a B on an assignment, do you feel sadness, depressed, down, unhappy, blue? Could you rate that for
For
me?
sure. Yeah. I would give it like an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
How about any anxiety? Do you have any worry or nervousness?
Yeah, I've been feeling more and more anxious, just thinking about like future tests and future assignments, because I don't know if I'm gonna get a B again, or even like worse, I could get a C or a D. So just kind of thinking about that kind of stuff makes me anxious, for sure.
Sure. Yeah. Can you rate that?
Yes. I would say 8.
An 8? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Do you have any guilt when you get bad grades? Do you feel remorseful, bad, or ashamed?
Yeah, I do. I would rate that a 7. Yeah.
And what does that look like for you? Like, what does it look like when you're guilty or you feel ashamed?
I just feel bad about myself. I feel like my worth is kind of decreased. I feel like, I don't know, if my parents or my family or friends were to find out, it would just be like a really not fun thing, and I think that's kind of where that guilt comes from, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I want to do well, and I want to make my parents feel proud, and I don't want to look like a failure in front of my friends. So if I'm getting B's and stuff like that, then I don't know, I feel ashamed of myself. Like I could have done better. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough to wrestle with, Emily. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to look at these up closer, so we'll be able to deal with them a little more presently.
okay.
So do you feel, I know, well, you said worthless, that was definitely a word.
Yeah.
Inferior, worthlessness, inadequacy, defective, incompetent.
Yeah, that's very accurate. Yeah, I would say a 9 for that one.
Wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How about any loneliness, rejection, abandonment?
Nothing presently. The only thing I could think of is, like, if I were to tell my parents or family or friends, I would be afraid that their love for me would decrease, I think. Or that I would feel rejected. So maybe a 5 for now.
Yeah, a 5 kind of wavering on the possibility of it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And do you feel embarrassed when you get B's on assignments?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel very embarrassed. Yeah, I would give that an 8.
An 8.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you embarrassed by?
I should have gotten a better grade. I feel like, again, if people were to see, oh, she got a B, then I don't know, they would think I'm just like stupid, or I don't know. I would feel humiliated though, for sure. For sure. And even just knowing that my professors have seen my grades, it's like, I don't know. I almost feel like I have to talk to them and just explain, like, I'm really sorry, I'm not trying to get B's, but and I'll do better next time. So definitely, yeah, humiliated and self-conscious for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm definitely hearing discouragement, right?
Yeah.
Is there any hopelessness or despairing thoughts?
Kind of, because like if I keep getting B's,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. That's just not good enough for me. Or I could even get worse grades. So I don't know. I guess what my grades are gonna be like moving forward, but I do feel kind of discouraged because I keep getting B's, and I feel like I'm trying hard, I'm just not getting what I want.
Yeah.
So I would give that one a 7.
7.
Mm-hmm.
How about frustration?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that kind of ties into it. I feel like I can't reach my goal no matter how hard I try.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel defeated.
Yeah.
I would give that one a 7 as well.
7.
Mm-hmm.
And how about anger? Do you have any resentfulness or annoyance, irritation?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not as significant as the other ones, but definitely like I feel anger towards myself because I think like, why can't I just do better? Like everyone else is getting fine grades, why can't I just get my stuff together and get A's? So I do feel angry at myself. Yeah, maybe a 7 for that one too.
7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright. Well, looking at this emotional list, is there anything else that sticks out in your mind that we didn't cover here?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
that kind of covers everything. Yeah.
Alright. So how does it feel looking at this to see your emotions rated like this?
Oh man, I see a lot of high numbers, but I mean, I really do relate to those emotions, and it kind of shows me like, man, this is what's been going through my head lately. Ugh.
Yeah.
It just feels like a lot.
Mhm. Yeah, we definitely have some high numbers here. So ones that stick out would definitely be sadness, anxiety, inferiority for sure.
Yeah.
Embarrassed, even hopelessness, frustration, and anger. We all have 7s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I feel
this
those.
is accurate?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
do.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. We'll come back to them. But so here we have our distortions list. So what this is some of these thoughts, how they could be wrong. Some things that you are processing and how they can be not helpful to you. So for example, we have like all or nothing thinking. It's just very black and white. So kind of like if-then statements. If this happens, then this is absolutely going to happen.
Okay.
So we have a couple here. Would it be beneficial for me to read them out loud to you, or would you like to read them yourselves? Because I would like you to pick out some that kind of stand out.
Okay, I can just read them.
Okay, that works great.
Should be fine. I mean, right off the bat, when you were reading all or nothing, I was like, yeah, that's totally me.
Mm-hmm.
You see things in black and white categories. Yeah, if performance falls short of perfect, you see yourself or others as total failures.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, definitely when it comes to academics, if something falls short of perfect, I see myself as a failure.
Yeah.
So that's a big one, I think, for me.
Yeah, I'll check that so we can remember it.
Okay. I think also mental filter kind of sounds like it might relate to me. Um, this is kind of a helpful analogy, like a drop of ink that discolors an entire glass of water. And when I think about getting B's on assignments, it kind of just like downs everything else in my life. And
Yeah, that's the ink.
yeah, that's the ink, and it feels like everything else is just like not great anymore.
Yeah.
So it kind of affects everything else in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe disqualifying the positive.
Okay.
I mean, like there was one assignment last week that I did get an A on, but even though that was a positive experience, I was still just like, oh, whatever. Like I got one A. I'm still getting a bunch of B's in my other classes and on my other exams, so yeah, still kind of discounting that positive thing that happened.
Yeah. Anything else you're seeing that's standing out to maybe remind you of yourself?
Yeah, actually, I think one more maybe.
Okay.
The fortune teller error kind of, I resonate with that a little bit.
You often anticipate things will turn out badly.
Yeah, I feel like moving forward, I'm just gonna keep getting B's or worse. And if I keep getting B's, then my GPA is not gonna be as great as I want it to be, and then I won't get a great job. So I feel like it has this big effect on me, so I don't know. I just feel like I'm not gonna succeed or meet my goals in the future.
Okay. All right. So we can move on to our chart now.
Okay.
So with this, we have our initial thoughts and beliefs about the situation that we listed here, and then we're going to look at basically the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because with anything, there's pros, there's cons. So what we're just going to do, we're just going to weigh them and look at them rationally, and hopefully come out with it's called corrective thought, but hopefully come out with something that's helpful to you.
Okay.
You know, because that's our goal. We want you to be thinking in a way that's helpful and healthy.
Okay.
All right. So, initial thought or belief. So, let's say you do get a B. What's your first thought?
My first thought would be like, I'm just dumb and I really messed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I gotta be.
I'm dumb.
So I'm done. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta be and I'm done. How's it feel looking at that?
That's kind of it. It's hard. It's unsettling to look at that. The last thing I want to be is dumb. Like I want to be intelligent and I want to do well. I'm very driven and I have aspirations and things like that. But looking at that, it's just kind of almost depressing to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, looking at this, though it is depressing, can there be any benefits to this thought?
That's a hard question. Maybe something would be like, I'm clearly upset that I got a B. A benefit to that would be maybe like it's okay to have standards and it's okay to try to, do well. At least I think it is, unless I have that skewed too. But yeah, I guess having standards is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very right. Setting goals is good. Yeah, for sure. All right. So now looking at this, I gotta be, therefore I'm dumb. Is there any distortions that we can see in the ones that we are listed up here that we marked?
Yeah, all or nothing thinking.
Mhm.
Actually, that kind of is what that is, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely agree. Do you think that would be a little bit of the mental filter too? Just kind of letting that B kind of trickle its way in and distort how you look at yourself.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that would be one too because it like affects, yeah, like what you said, how I view myself, which is a pretty big thing, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna try to find some evidence against this initial belief. So what about it could be false?
Well, I don't know. Just because I got a B doesn't mean I'm done, I guess, necessarily.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So a B doesn't mean. B doesn't mean you're done. And what would you say to someone else if they got a B and they said, "Oh, I'm done"? How would you talk to someone else?
I would just say it's okay. Like, just try harder next time, and it's not the end of the world if you get a B. It's just one letter grade off from an A, so it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah. So we could maybe say to this, a B's a good grade. Like you said, it's only one letter off from an A.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Guess I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, and it is higher than average.
Yeah.
Do you know what your current GPA is?
It's a 4 something, 4.1.
Okay. Yeah, and Emily, that's above average. That is. The average is around like, I think it's like 3.30 or something.
Okay.
So you're above average.
Okay. Yeah,
so.
That's true. That's true.
So now we can move on, and taking all of this into account, we're going to try to formulate something that's a little more realistic and a little more helpful for you. Okay. So, like I said, the corrective thought isn't going to be a complete reversal of this. It's not going to be just the opposite.
Okay.
It's going to be realistic. It's going to take into account all of this. So what do you think that could be for you?
Well, I think I see that benefit of setting goals, how that is good, and I think that should have something to do with it.
Yeah.
So having, it's good to set standards and it's good to have goals. It's also okay if I don't do great once in a while, but as long as I've done my best, then I think that should be sufficient.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe my best is enough, and there's nothing wrong with setting goals.
That's good. I like that. Okay, I like that.
And let me say too, Emily, honestly, a B is a very good grade. College is not easy,
Yeah.
And hopefully you can try to be a little more compassionate on yourself, because like you would say to someone else, like, that's good. If it bothers you that much, then just work harder next time.
Yeah.
But a B is a very good grade. You have an excellent GPA, and I think you should take time to be proud of yourself.
Okay. Yeah, when you asked me, what would I say to someone else, that was kind of like, oh, well, maybe I should say that to myself, that there's incongruence there. Yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah. So how does this new thought look? My best is enough, and there's nothing wrong with setting goals.
Right off the bat, it feels very freeing and very just like a burden has been lifted off my back, and I don't know. I feel like if I think that thought, a lot of these emotions would just not be so prevalent. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at all of this, I guess, how does that relate back to up here? I know you said it would definitely, you're correct, you thought it would diminish some of these significantly, but
Yeah, I mean, when I think about my initial thought, I think a lot of it can, have those emotions involved with that, like feeling sad or anxious or inferior
sure.
or embarrassed, because no one wants to be dumb. But I mean, after going through that, I realized that that's an all or nothing thinking. That's and also mental filter. So it's not really a healthy way to look at it, I guess.
Yeah.
But if I have this thought instead, it feels so much more freeing, I think. So
That's awesome. That's good to hear, Emily.
yeah.
And yeah, looking back on this, I gotta be I'm dumb. Well, girl, you're not dumb. You're above average. You're above average. You're doing very well. And this, like I said, this isn't going to be a copy and paste. What we really want to emphasize here is the process of just rational, healthy thinking and taking something that you feel, because this isn't initial thought or belief. This isn't bad. We're not labeling this as bad or wrong. This is just the thought or the belief.
Yeah.
And then with that, we're going to look at the pros and cons, and we're going to challenge it and come out with something that's more realistic.
Okay.
So what's important here is the process.
Okay. Okay.
We just don't want to be like, oh, I'm dumb. Just remember this as a mantra. And you can if that's helpful to you. But I think from what I'm getting, the way that you're wired, and you're very intellectual, so it might be helpful just to remember this process.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what we want to emphasize here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very helpful.
Yeah. So how do we feel about all this?
It's good. I like seeing all this laid out in a very clear and concise way. I think the process is very, very helpful too, and enlightening. So,
well, awesome. I'm really happy we got to do this. Thank you for doing it with me.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I'll copy and I'll send one home for you, so you can just have it as reference.
Sure.
And maybe we can work on some of these in the future, and definitely we can reevaluate these as we start practicing this.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
One step at a time. We'll do it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome.
Cool.